Today I have on my mind a very important subject, which is aggressive dogs. It's important because there's a lot of mistakes being done by us, the caretakers, and people around us, that we mistake the behavior of being aggressive, and also the training methods we are using. So I just these lives are just not like, deep dive lectures. I just want to talk about things that are important when it comes to dog training and behavior. And aggressive dogs is a huge topic. Okay, so aggressive behavior. And you know what I do sometimes? I go to get ideas for what I'm going to talk about. I go online to different forums about dogs. And one of the questions that are one of the things that, the topics that they talk most about is aggressive dogs. And the question is, I just read a question today that goes something like this when I translate it. Can I train my dog not to be aggressive? So first of all, we need to know what is aggressive behavior. To be aggressive is a feeling, okay? It is a feeling that the dog has in certain circumstances, at certain times. If something is happening, you're not born aggressive. We are, and the dogs are not born aggressive. It's not a personality. No matter what people tell you, you don't have an aggressive dog as a personality. But yes, our dogs can behave in what we perceive as aggressive behavior. Okay, and typical signs of that we all know. People that don't own a dog knows this. This is something, I don't know, maybe we're born with it, or maybe we just learn it throughout life. But anyhow, we know the signs. They growl, they show their teeth, and they just act aggressive. Some might come forward towards whatever they react on. Typically if you have your dog on a leash, your dog is growling, maybe barking, trying to look really scary, because that is the whole purpose of that. To show aggressive behavior is to try and scare away whatever they feel threatened about. Something that does not feel right, something that they're scared of, something that they by experience feel can be painful. So often it's learned behavior. Let me take one example. A dog has pain. A dog is in pain, okay? And I'm doing this on purpose because pain in dogs is maybe even the number one, very, very high up there, very normal reason for a dog to act aggressive. It's because they're in pain, just like you and me. It works the same way. Yes, I know very well that dogs are not people or human, but we are more alike than you think we are. And being aggressive. So if you have a headache, if you have a toothache, if you have a backache, if you have pain in your body, are you a patient, kind person then? No, you're not. We are not. Same thing with dogs. They have very little patience, and it's a feeling. Okay, so they might have learned that, for example, if they have pain somewhere on their body, if we touch them there, it gets more painful. So what they have learned through experience is that if they, for example, starts growling a bit or showing their teeth, then we stop touching them because we get scared, like, oh, my dog is aggressive, or we, by just default, we go back and we don't touch anymore. So the dogs learn by association. So when they realize, and that takes very, very little learning or training for them to realize that if I do a certain kind of behavior, it's good for me. So in this example, it's good for the dog because it doesn't have to be touched where it's painful. Okay. And they very often use it to scare away something. If they feel threatened, that's what animals do. They act upon their feelings, and if they feel threatened, they show aggressive behavior because they want whatever they feel is threatening to go away, to disappear, to stop happening. Okay, so again, they use their body language, trying to be as aggressive or look as scary as possible to scare away whatever they perceive as dangerous or scary. So back to my question now, can I train my dog not to be aggressive? What do you think? Can you train feelings? No. First of all, if your dog is suddenly changing behavior and becoming more aggressive in his or her behavior, the first thing I would look at is everything okay? Is my dog in pain? And I know it's difficult. I know it's difficult to take your dog to the veterinarian and say, my dog is acting aggressive. I think he's in pain. Where do you start? You can't see headache, but you can check the teeth. You can go to a physiotherapist to check the muscles. There's a lot of things we can check. And again, it's a whole thing about observing your dog's behavior. So is my dog drinking, eating, walking, acting the same as normal, or has something changed? So the more information you give your veterinarian and your dog trainer and physiotherapist, the better it is. All the small details. Then it's easier to try and start to guess what the problem might be. Okay? That makes sense, right? So first we need to eliminate the possibility of it being pain, physical pain or illness. And then we can start, trying to find out what is your dog, scared of. Why does your dog have this behavior? So very often it's because if it's not pain, then it's your dog is fearful, anxious, and it will try and scare away whatever it's anxious of or scared about. And very typically, when we're walking our dogs, and if your dog is not comfortable being on leash, meeting other dogs, this is where they show this aggressive behavior. They're trying to scare away the other dog. And then we go around saying, oh, that's an aggressive dog, and I just see this horrible advice online. People, it's other dog owners. Be aware of that. If you're a dog trainer or if you're a dog owner as well, then what other people tell you without having observed your dog and without having the knowledge of dogs' behavior and their language and their way of communicating, there is no way they can tell you what the reason is. We don't even do that. In many instances, there are things we can do online, but sometimes we have to see the dog. We have to meet the dog. We have to see what's going on in the relationship between the owner and enriched environments. We have to see the behavior. We have to see how they're walking. Yeah, could be something physical with the dog that the owner haven't seen. yet. So aggressive dogs, there are no things, there are no such thing as being having an aggressive personality. There's always a reason why a dog is acting in an aggressive manner. We call it distance increasing signals, what I just talked about. Growling, showing teeth, lunging, and of course the top of this ladder is then biting. That's what they do when they have no other option, when we don't listen to them. So in very many instances, in many cases, this behavior stops if we change the environment, or we stop doing whatever we are doing that is bothering the dog in this situation. So let me give you another example. There is a dog tied up outside a store. Yeah, the owner is inside the store. The dog is there alone, and you walk towards the dog, and the dog starts growling or showing these distance increasing signals. Ears could be back, you know. We can pretty much see it on their body language. Low could be, their head could be lowered a bit, and of course showing teeth. If we stop moving towards the dog and increasing the distance, then these signs, this body language will get less tense and less aggressive. It's as simple as that. So, but if we do move forward towards the dog, and the dog is getting more stressed, more insecure, and feel more threatened. Remember, if a dog is tied up, he can't move away, he can't escape. So what do you think would be the worst scenario here? That would actually be a bite. If we don't stop our behavior or change our behavior. And this is so sad, because a lot of dogs has actually been put down because of our misunderstanding of what aggressive behavior is. So a lot of this aggressive behavior is, can I say a lot? Yes. Almost all of it is also learned behavior. It's an instinct they do in these situations, whether they're in pain or whether they are afraid. So in going back to the example of walking your dog is showing aggressive behavior towards other dogs that he meets. I don't know why. We might never find the reason why, but for sure your dog has a bad experience, and it has learned that by showing this behavior, I don't have to be in this situation for long. So we need to change our behavior. We need to find out why the dog is showing the behavior. We have to, of course, eliminate the possibility of the dog being in pain. You cannot do any dog training. It doesn't make sense to train anything if you're in pain. You won't learn much. You won't remember what you learned. And to be honest, a lot of this behavior will go away naturally when the dog is no longer in pain, right? Same thing with us. So if we have a headache, have a bad day with bad headache or back pain, whatever it could be, if we don't have that the next day, then our mood is better. We're not that aggressive. We're not that stressed or impatient. So if you can train aggressive behavior, I think that's very, I'm trying to be nice now. I think it's not a wise thing to do. Because what you do is you put a lid on it, okay? So you can scare or you can threaten anyone, any living being to act a certain way. That's what a lot of people do, unfortunately, also dog trainers. They're scaring their dog so they don't, do their behavior. So that is not solving a problem. That's actually more like putting a lid on something that is boiling hot, just waiting for the lid to explode. Seriously. So, especially when it's pain related, and especially when there are children around. This is why it's crucial for you to learn how dogs are communicating with their body, to learn their calming signals and their distance increasing signals, so that you can avoid these situations. Because before a dog bites or attacks, they have a lot of signals they show us. So we do get a lot of warnings, but sometimes it's very difficult to see them. It can happen very quickly, very fast. So we also have a responsibility when we have dogs that have shown this behavior for various reasons, for whatever reason it is. It's your responsibility of keeping everyone safe, including your dog. So do not put your dog in situations like this. If your dog is not socialized well with children and is insecure when children is around, then it's your responsibility to socialize your dog properly and well with children in a positive way, obviously. Not to put a lid on anything or not to tell your dog to do something just because of the of obedience, but because of the feelings. Yeah. So we have to be responsible dog owners, carers, and make sure that the environment and the people around us are safe. And if you have kids, you have to teach your kids about this. I remember very well, many years ago, I had a consultation with the whole family, including their young kids. And this particular dog was showing a calming signal, which is smiling. You know, he's just showing his teeth like, you know, we thought it was smiling, or they thought it was, the dog was happy or funny or something. It proved that this dog was showing teeth in this funny smiling way just before he lunged at someone. Before he didn't attack, he hadn't bitten anyone by them, but they were very concerned. The parents were very concerned. And they had no clue. They never heard about the calming signals. They didn't know that this was part of, strong calming signals that dogs do. I'm not saying that all smiling dogs are doing this before they, show aggressive behavior, but it could be. You have to see the context. That's why you have to learn about this so you know how it works. So we were telling the kids, and the kids are beautiful. They're so easy to teach, aren't they? Compared to us adults, So we were telling the kids that now he had to tell his friends and himself that if the dog smiled, it was not an invitation to come closer. It was the opposite. It was a warning to go away, to leave the dog alone. The dogs simply weren't really happy about all these kids in the house running around. So he got stressed and he felt like he had to scare, the kids away because he felt insecure in the situation. So that's why it's, again, so important to know. And we talk a lot about this on our level 1 as well, where Turid actually has a 2-hour live seminar about the calming signals, where you watch videos together with Turid about the calming signals and discuss them so that you can see the different calming signals and what they mean. And Turid, for those of you who don't know, Turid Rugaas is the author of On Talking Terms with Dogs. She was the first one to write down, to do a study on the signals and their body language. And she wrote this book in the 90s. And it's one of the most used references for other dog, books the last 30 years. So it's amazing to still have her doing classes at the age of 85, by the way. So she's, I tell her that she needs to think about, retiring, but she doesn't want to, which is great for us. So aggression is not a personality. It's a feeling. It's a response to something that is happening right there and then. It could be with other people, with other animals, with, the environment, something getting too close, something not feeling good because they're in pain, and so on. So in order to do something about the aggression, please first find a good dog trainer who are up to date and who really knows how to observe dogs, and know their language. If someone tells you that we can easily train this by obedience, it's not your dog trainer. If you want to solve the problem and keep the animal welfare and your welfare, then no obedience training for this. Like I said, it's the easiest thing to do for us humans is to force a dog to do something we want. And the way we can do that is by threatening them that something bad will happen to you if you don't do what I tell you to. But we realize that that's not the solution of the problem, is it? At all. It's just making things worse. So first you need to find what is the reason for the behavior. So when is it happening, in what circumstances, where is it happening, and so on. And then maybe even go to the veterinarian or physiologic, oh no, now I forgot what it's called. Not a psychologist, but a physiologic. Gee, I really can't remember. Physiotherapy. Yeah, physiotherapy, that's it. Physiotherapist. Physiotherapist, that's a difficult word. You have to get some help to just eliminate. This is the first I do. And many times when I get clients and I suspect that after, we observe the dog and I meet the dog and everything, talk to the owners, I would say I'm not going to do anything until you've been to the veterinarian and physiotherapist. And if they don't want to do that, I can't help them. And I'm so sorry. A few times, very, very, very few times, I have met dog caretakers who do not believe me, so they go to another dog trainer. But I couldn't help them anyhow, really. I couldn't do that because I wouldn't know how to do it, because I just can't force a dog in pain to do something, or a dog who's not in pain. I don't do it. But we need, as always, I think, and that's part of why I'm doing these Facebook Lives. I want to talk about these things, and I want to get the knowledge out there and get you curious about it. It's in a way, it's kind of simple because it's logical. Dog training and dog behavior is not a huge mystery anymore. We know a lot about dogs because I'm not including myself now, I'm not a scientist, but a lot of scientific articles has been written, a lot of studies have been done, and we know so much more about dogs now than we did 5 years ago or 10 years ago or 20 years ago. I mean, yeah, unbelievable. But still, it's, like with stress, same thing happens to our body when we're stressed as the dogs. Same thing with sleep. If you don't sleep well for a couple of nights, same feeling the dog gets when he doesn't have good quality sleep as well. So more things than we think is the same. And again, don't worry. I don't think that dogs are humans or the other way around. I love dogs, but I know that there are another species, but they're not that different from us. We know they have feelings. We know they feel pain. You know that there's still people out there who don't believe that dogs feel pain. Yeah, it's true. Some people still don't believe that. So we have to tell people that that's the truth. that's my mission. So to my original question, or my first question, can I train my dog not to be aggressive? No, you can't train your dog not to be aggressive. You have to find out why it's showing aggressive behavior and do something about the reason for it. Okay? So have a very nice evening. Bye.